Okay, hello and welcome to Caesar Snack Sandwich. Today we have Captain X from X Dollar. X Dollar is a new stablecoin project coming out. It's pretty interesting. It's a multi-chain stablecoin that is backed by cryptocurrency collateral. Welcome to the show, Captain X. Let's start with some questions just about like the motivation of X Dollar. Like why have you decided to start this protocol or this project?
Yes, thank you, Crystal. Yes, so to answer about motivation of this project, so we are a group of DeFi DeFi founder in the space, and then we see there's a need of stablecoin in the space, but there's not many is in a very decentralized ways. So we want to provide we want to build some protocol that can match non-custodial 0% interest rate stablecoin accessible for all emerging chains. So we believe that ETH will not be the only chain that will stand out due to the very high gas fee. So we want to unlock the value of the crypto assets for the asset holders in other chains as well. So that's why we are building this on top of the liquidity protocol. And we will in the Astro V2 will have a multi-collateral and a multi-chain version of that.
Okay, so some of the problems perhaps you're trying to solve is one, we want to have a stable coin that's backed more by cryptocurrency instead of held by centralized exchanges like that can be attacked by whatever like entities like government officials and stuff like that. Like, so you guys mentioned that you like the liquidity model and so forth, but we'll get back to the liquidity in a second. What makes and the other problem you're trying to solve is the problem of like Ethereum. You want to provide like the liquidity. You like liquidity, but this liquidity is only very much available on Ethereum. So you're trying to branch it out and make all the chains accessible to a stablecoin that follows the same mechanics as liquidity. Mm-hmm. So why have you decided to fork liquidity? What is it about liquidity that makes it like in your mind, just on a general sense? Don't get into all the little details, but like why did you choose this one as a base for your protocol, as a inspiration for your stablecoin?
Yes. This is a very good question. So we actually study a lot of like different type of the stablecoins types, like the algorithmics, collateral base, and the other category is so called the fiat. So among these categories, if you feel like the algorithm is not that reliable at the moment, you see a lot of like DPAD issues. So we come back with the collateral and then look into that category, and then we have the MakerDAOs and liquidity at that times. So we actually compare these two. We feel like liquidity has very neat and clean mechanisms to keep the pad well above 1 and 1.1 using the soft and hard pegging for that. So and then they have a very creative stability pool to help for the to have a very automatic liquidations. So we see this is something very interesting. And then myself, I'm the user of the liquidity on the ETH, and then it's a very nice design, and the economic way is very uh, very well designed, I would say. So we actually built on top of that, yeah, and then.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's go into some of the little details of that one there. Some of the things that make liquidity special is the collateral ratio is quite high, right? Like if you go to most places and you try to borrow a stable coin or maybe mint a stable coin versus some asset, it generally is not such a good collateral ratio. And I know liquidity has 110, and I see here that X Dollar also has 110. Did you have any difficulties to try to match that setting?
No, because we inherit the same mechanism as a liquidity, and then yeah, you are right. I think liquidity has one of the attractive points that they can offer out to 110%. Besides that, they also offer the 0% interest rate, which is very attractive for long-term borrowers. So if you look at MakerDAO, they have a variable interest rate for that. So yeah, we for the X dollar V2, we also maintain the collateral ratios to 110% for most of the blue chip assets. And then because like right now we have like offer the multi-collateral, so we will have might have to adjust the collateral ratio for some long tail assets. So, but in general, we can maintain the 110%.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You you talked a little bit about a soft and a hard peg. For those people that are listening, maybe you can speak a little bit more. Like, what is soft peg? Like, how does a soft peg mechanism work, and what is the hard peg mechanism, and how does that work?
Yes, definitely. If you look at the in general one, right, the stablecoin is always like pegged to certain currencies. So in our version in the liquidity version, the stablecoin is pegged to USD. So it means that $1 is what the stablecoin should value at. So let's talk about the soft peg. Is something that because like we know that this stablecoin is valued at once. So anything above one is considered arbitrage. So the arbitrator can start the collateral, and then they can borrow out the stablecoin at value at once, and then they can sell that stablecoin to the markets to bring down the value to one. So this is the soft part. And then speaking about the hard part is because in the earliest we know that the collateral ratios, the lowest one we can go is 110%. So that actually create a hard a price ceiling for the stablecoin. So it means that ones can risk enough to borrow at 110. So the cost of that stablecoin is about 1.1%, $1.1. So anything above 1.1, let's say stablecoin go to 1.2, so one can do arbitrage by using borrow the stablecoin at 110% collateral ratio, and then you can sell to the markets at a premium as well. So if you see that the range is actually 1 to 1.1 dollars, and then in the SOV2 we have another mechanism which is a stablecoin swap. It's similar to the PSM. So probably in afterwards I can mention that if needed. So yeah.
But let's move on to another part. You wanted to go multi-chain, right? So what kind of problems do you foresee with multi-chain? Because sending tokens across bridges is easy enough, but actually minting tokens on other chains is very difficult. So how are you guys planning to solve this problem? Like, how can like the X dollar minted on Polygon be worth the same and maintain the same peg as the X dollar that's minted on Avalanche and so forth?
Yes. For the minting part, we if you look at our flow diagrams, we will have you imagine that the Astro is a factory, so we will have individual factory on each chain. So for each chain will mean a stablecoin called, like right now we have a rebrand that to SIM. So uh, I will use the SIM as a stablecoin name. So for the stablecoins, let's say mint on Polygon's SIM, and then the SIM can be bridged to the Avalanche, which has the which may have the different price. So I think there's arbitrage opportunities. So let's say the SIM on the Polygon is slightly lower, then a lot of people they can mint on the Polygon, and then they can bridge to the Avalanche, and then they can sell that to at a high premium for that. And then in theory, these two stablecoin are the same. So they are backed by the different type of collateral, and then they have this they share the similars like the stability pool structure for that. So the market can assume that these two shall have the value at once. So if this is not, then there's a arbitrary opportunities using the bridges for that.
Okay, I get it. I get it. So there's the possibility of like bridging arbitrage. So like maybe I see that the price of XUSD, or you were saying there's a new branding name, but because the flowchart says XUSD, I'll just use this for now.
Okay.
So let's say XUSD on Avalanche is worth $1.20, and for some crazy reason, right? And on Polygon, it's worth $1. So they can then buy it. They can use Matic to mint the XUSD and then bridge it across and sell it on Avalanche for Avalanche, or sell it at the market just for some other possibly stablecoin, and bring that price down to something closer. And they can also do soft cross market arbitrage, where they don't actually have to bridge the token. They just have tokens on both sides already waiting to do this arbitrage opportunity, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how about integrations? I do see here it says DEX. You're going to obviously have to put a stablecoin into some DEXs. So what kind of DEXs are you guys planning? What sort of integrations do you have? Any kind of partnerships coming up, or where are you guys aiming to put your stablecoin first, and then the most? What's your ultimate goal?
Yes, I think for the stablecoin havens, I think we are aiming to list it on the curve. I think the curve is the mother of all the stablecoin liquidities. So I think the curve has a permissionless factory. So what we do is that we will initially create stablecoins with the 3 pool or 2 pool, depending on which chains we are. So we will create a factory on that, and then we will incentivize people to to pay our stablecoin with the curve stablecoins. So in that way, we can bootstrap the liquidity. So people once they mint out the SUSD, and then they can actually exchange to others stablecoin easily, or they can use the SUSD for other purposes like the stability pool for the mining of the government's tokens. So I hope that answers. Yeah, I think the primary that we will be look into is a curve, or like curve light alternative. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. You did just mention the governance token, so that would be the XDO token on this flowchart, right? So it says it's coming from the stability pool. Maybe you can explain, I guess maybe we should explain what the stability pool is before we get into why the XDO comes from that. So let's talk about the stability pool. What is the purpose of the stability pool, and so forth?
Yes. So stability pool is designed to provide it is designed to stabilize the platform in case of any emergency. So it's kind of like you can treat it as the last defense line of the stablecoin landings. So what it does is that the user can choose to deposit the SUSD on here, and then in case of any liquidations events happens, so the protocols can actually use the money, the SUSD here, to liquidate the trough. Besides we do it manually, like in the auctions way. So in this protocol, we do it in the very automatic ways. So yeah, so I think this is very important, which is a unique features from the liquidity. So we can ensure that we can have a very systematic liquidation methods to help to stabilize the platform in case of any emergency or liquidations events.
Okay, just to make sure I understand this, the stability pool will help to hold the peg, or at least like if the collateral becomes uncollateralized, under collateralized, then people can get liquidated, and the stability pool is there to give have the finances ready for liquidation, right?
Yes.
But you said it's automatic, but it still has to be called by a person, does it not? Or you guys have keepers going to run these liquidations?
Yes, for the liquidation, you are right. But there's definitely like we need like some caller, or it can be individual, it can be a bot, or it can be someone of the user who keep watching. Pretty someone can write the contracts for that. So yes, you have to be called, but there's an incentive behind this to call in these functions. The liquidators who help to maintain the platforms, they can get the reservation gas fee, as well as 0.5% of the collateral of that liquidity trough. So I think there's a quite a incentive for anyone to do this. Yeah.
Okay, so if I put my money, my X dollars into the stability pool, and you come along and you liquidate somebody, what happens to my X dollars? Like,
yes, that's a very good question, and people always say some newcomers might be confused that your SRC will be used to liquidate others in return to the collaterals. Let's say right here on the Polygon tree have the matches, right? So in case of that any liquidation happens, so you will exchange your SUSD to the matches at the 10% premiums. So it means that every time you liquidate, you actually get the matches at a discount rate of 10%. So your SUSD will be decreased, but in the same time, your collateral of metric will be increased. Yes. So this is the trade-off that we need to understand that in the stability pool, our SUSD can be used anytime to liquidate in returns of the collateral at the moments of liquidations.
okay, just to make sure this point's very clear. Like, if you put X dollars into the stability pool, then you are agreeing that your X dollars can buy the liquidated assets from the people getting liquidated. So the way I like to look at it is like you are buying the bottom and getting a discount on that token. But you have to feel like you have to be okay with purchasing that underlying asset, whether it be Matic or AVAX or whatever underlying asset is that stability pool is covering, right? So
Correct.
if you're bullish on Matic and you have dollars, this is a very good place to put your dollars, because then you know you're going to be buying Matic at the bottom at a discount of 10%, which is quite good, right?
Yes. So people can just to add on this one, so people can see this as a long strategy without you watching the markets all the time. So if you know that you are the Matisse pool or the Avas pool, you can deposit your S dollar onto here, and every time the markets like crash or like some turbulence, then you can get you can scoop the collateral that you have believe in at a very low discount. And then, yeah.
Okay, I do also see that there's ETH on the Polygon thing. Is this going to be from launch right away, or is this something you guys are planning to add in the future, or so forth?
Yes. So the version 2 is has a one distinct features from the V1 is we offer the multi collateral versions. So the reason so yes. So to answer your question, yes, we could launch the ETH on the Polygon as well. Yeah. So to make it a multi collateral, so people can also use the ETH to mint the SUSD, and then they can do the same things as well.
Okay, so now we can go back to the XDO governance token. If we have this XDO governance token, it comes from supplying XUSD or the stablecoin to the stability pool, and you earn basically governance token. Is this right? Is this the only way, or is there any other way to get the XDO other than of course buying it from the market?
Yes, in order to as a SDO as a reward token, so one way to earn SDO is through providing S dollars in the stability pool, and the reason for that is because we are using our S dollar to provide the stable coin, and then we want to ensure to have these actions because these provide the stability to the platforms. So yeah, so in the returns, I think it makes sense for the platform to award the SDOs to the stackers on the stability pool. Yeah, and then for the other sources for the SEO reward could be, as I say earlier, probably like if you provide the S dollar on the curve or on the or any dApps that we have, we probably will instant type flat action as well, because we want the stablecoin has a very deep liquidity on any that, so that people can exchange in and out to different stablecoins. So these are the two potentials sources that you can get the SEO.
Okay. Based on my memory, liquidity is immutable. Like there's nothing that they can change inside there. Are you guys completely immutable too?
For the V1, yes, but for the V2, because we have a lot of parameters that need to decide. So let's say like adding a new collateral. So immutable make it like cannot we cannot, let's say if we say in the way that in the V1, then we couldn't do a lot of different stuff in the V2, like adding a new collateral and deploy on the new chains using the sand stablecoins. So in the V2, the short answer is algorithmic, but we have a way to make sure that the platform is in the safe hands for that, like multi-sig time lots, and then soon we will transition everything to the DAO government, where like the compounds, like the others blue fi uh, 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 blue DeFi doing in the space. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. It's just like I know that with liquidity, the liquidity governance token doesn't really have a whole lot of governance to be done. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Like, what is the XDO token going to allow us to govern? Like,
Yeah.
what's the actual purpose of the governance token other than to reward people for providing liquidity and providing to the stability pool?
Yes, this is a very good point. As you can see, you understand that Liquidity has no governance because there's no need for like to design any protocol parameters for that. So for our V2, we see there's a need of government because if we involve the multi-collateral, we involve the multi-chains, then we involve the reward allocation. So there's a lot of decision that we can decide using our we can decide, but we don't want to make it a centralized decisions. So we want to give back the decision, the voting right to the holders. So let's say in right here we have the space. We rebrand the SDO to the space. So right here the space is just reward tokens, but in order to get the voting power or you get the booster reward, we probably can introduce the lock version of the space, which is the S space. So, but in general, you are right. We can with the space converted into the log versions, we can do a lot of voting on the critical decision on the collateral, which chain we want to deploy.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so yeah, this is a good time now since I've pulled up the website here. Now, bear in mind that people who are watching this video, this is the Rikubi. It might not be live quite yet when you're watching this video, so you'll have to connect to Rikubi to see this actual website. Now, if we do go to here, this is what we're talking about. The XUSD. They've rebranded it to XIM. So I guess it's Shim or XIM.
Sim, yeah,
Sim, yeah, Sim.
And the space token is the governance token that is shown in the white paper as XDO. And then these would be our possible troves that you guys are planning to do. Is this correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now it's just a testing one. So the baseline will have like BTC and E, and then the rest we will leave like anyone can decide. So let's say we can vote for the links. We can vote for any asset that has the challenge integrate. So there's a minimum requirements. So but anyone can propose anything, as long as they have the voting powers to decide which to list.
Okay, that's very good actually, because being able to like provide new liquidity or new collateral for this is gives the space token quite a bit of value, right? Quite a bit of power to other protocols as well. Protocols that would like to have their token locked away inside a stablecoin backing, right?
Yes.
So let's go to some of these tabs over here on the left. X Bank. Let's go over to X Bank. What is X Bank for?
Yes, the aspect is just like you imagine the App Store is a band, so you have like you have the WBTC, so you just go to the band and then you just go to each counters and then you can uh, uh, approve your collateral and then you can open the account with us and then you can borrow out the SIM from each of them. Yeah. So
Awesome.
so yeah, it's just a band and then you open this is the way you get your US dollar stablecoins.
Okay. Now, are these completely isolated? Like, does if I have risk with my WBTC, might my WETH be ever liquidated? Like, if WBTC goes down in value and I have both of these troves open, does my WETH get any risk of being liquidated?
Right now, everything is isolate. So means that each of them, when we go down to the S pool, you will see more clearly. So to answer your question, if you have the WPTC, then it's just a WPTC pool. So you can see that as an isolate trough. They are not interact with each other yet.
Okay, what is this XPEG here? USDC Trove.
Yes.
What is this idea?
Yeah, so I think this is something that we haven't mentioned, but I mentioned that earlier. This is the third mechanism that we try to keep the stablecoin to one. So this idea is actually inspired by the MakerDAO. So if you look at the MakerDAO, they have the PSM, the Pad Stability Modules. So what they does is that in last year, November, there's a spike, and then you see that it has a very stable price stability. They spread out very high. So this trough does is that anyone can swap the USDC to the SIM at 1-to-1 ratios. But the cost for that is that probably there's a high percentage for the swap fee. So this is in case of that in case of anything happens, we have the mechanism that can get the SUSD at the 1-to-1 ratios.
Okay, I get it. This is kind of like an anchor, or I've seen this before in a couple other protocols. So people will come and they will put their USDC here, right? And how are you going to incentivize people to supply USDC to this pool here?
Yes, so I think for this one is very low risk low risk way to get the SUSD. So I think if I am the users and I'm more like the reservers, then I would probably will use stablecoin to exchange that 1-to-1, because to ensure that these actions is let's say if I have like 1.2 $1.20 in any chance, then I think the best way for me is instead of minting, I can use my USDC at one, and I can sell to market for 20% profit for that straight away. So this one will actually people then will prefer this. This is a no-brainer arbitrage opportunities. Involves no risk for that. So
Okay, so I think I was thinking a little bit wrong when I first tried to understand it. So this is just basically the same as the other troves. However, it's very, very low risk because I'm getting dollars, and I know that dollar can be sold in the market if the peg is above, right? And then the opposite, if I hold a trove and I see that the XIM is selling or is below peg, then I can buy cheap and pay off some of my debt, right?
Yes.
Now, but these are still 0% interest, right?
Yes.
So there is just a one-time fee to open the trove?
Yes. There's slightly higher pre we are right now we are setting for 1%, but this fee can be changed, can be adjusted according to the DAO. So we also can in here we can see that other than USDC, we can list like probably USD, list the MIN, that kind of stuff in here as well. We want to have more like options here. So, but to answer your question, yes, there's only zero fee, zero interest, and then but with a one-time fee for opening the trove.
Understand. Okay, so let's say I come with $100 and I use 100 USDC to try to mint 100 XIM. Then my debt will immediately be like 101 XIM. Is this correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So this makes sense. And you're going to try to add more stable coins in here as time goes. And the governance says, hey, let's use meme, let's use USDT, let's use DAI, or whatever stable coins the governance decides that they would like to add to this. And they can then change that 1% to be higher, lower, whatever. Okay. This is good. I like this. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go over to X pool here. These are the stability pools, right? Maybe you can speak a little bit. We are kind of explained what they already do, how these funds are used to liquidate positions. Can I get liquidated at any time? Like, I remember it was a while ago since I did a video and did my research on liquidity, but I remember reading somewhere that at any time someone could be liquidated. Is this also the case here?
Yes, you are right. In that case, it's actually people. There's a very unique function. It's called redeem, and we will have that function as well. Because that redeem function is actually ensure the floor is is actually 1. So we will have the similar function here. So in case that someone are very risky, so they trough could be liquid. They trough cake. I think we can use the redeems because like people actually they use the HSC to redeem, and then the coming in HSC they come kind of like buying the collateral according to the very risky one, so, and then to the less risky one. So this is how the system works, the redemptions parts for that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this is important to use, but does it or important to speak on? Does it use the stability pool funds to do redemption?
Not for the redemption is actually not from the stability pool. If you click on the there's a top left, the dot, top right, sorry, yeah, top. The redeems the redeem is actually using anyone. You have the SIM, right? And then you just let's say I have 100 SIM, and I come here and try to redeem the MACDs. So the 100 SIM bought into will be used to buy the collateral. So this is I think there are two different systems. One is the liquidation. So the money inside the liquidation is used into at the liquidations event, and then the redemption is actually someone's they want to redeem back the collateral 1-to-1, and then they can use that. So you can buy you can buy the WBTC like here for 1-to-1. Yeah, in case of this, yeah.
Okay, I get it. So liquidations is like, the price of the asset has fallen to a point that's it's below the collateral ratio, and this is just a case where I want to buy some WBTC, so I come with some XIM and I pay this extra redemption fee, right? Is this redemption fee is 0.5%, right? So I pay this extra redemption fee. I buy some WBTC from the most risky. The person who's got the worst collateral ratio right now, I buy his WBTC. He gets the XIM, and I get his WBTC at a small premium. So I pay a little bit extra than the market prices or the peg or the price feed. Is this correct?
Correct. And another reason people will redeem is some let's say if the SRM depart to 90 cents. So you can buy the SRM in the market with the 90 cent, right? And then the SRM that you got, you actually want to arbitrage, right? So people you use like the discount SRM here, and then they can get to $1 worth of the BTC. So you see that there's an immediate 10% premiums. Just if you can get like the SMN at discount, and then you can ensure that people will do the redemptions to help the price to go up, because they'll buy the SIM, and then that also the other way soft pad. So if something below 0.9, and then I will keep buying the SIM and then do the redemptions to help the price stability back to 1.
I got it. So this is just another mechanism you guys use to help keep the XIM on peg and so forth, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so liquidation pool, stability pool, I think we're okay with this. These APYs are of course Rickaby. So do you guys have any kind of like projected like APRs that you're aiming for? Like, is it,
yes.
we're talking 1,000%, 30%, 10%, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys aiming for? Because 2,000% is that's wild, right?
Yeah.
On a stable coin, right? So
Yes.
what are you guys aiming for?
So yes, you're right. for definitely for initials, where like the volume or the TVL is low, then you can see very high. But for the long terms, we are comparing with other protocols as well, and then we see our protocol as a small one. So we probably what we aiming is probably like twice as high as the other protocol, like probably 50 or 60%. So that make more sense. So people like risk they like put their money onto our platforms and put the trust. So we definitely will put like the highest in the way that we control is that we'll put more space to incentivize the each of them stability pool, and then in the futures we can have the government floating as well. Let's say a lot of like our protocol is a BTC believers, then they can say that hey, let's allocate a lot of the space into this one. We want to incentivize these 12 more than others. We can do that as well.
Yeah, I got it. So yeah, so the governance will be able to come in and adjust and say, oh, you know what, we want more backing in WBTC, so let's give a little more incentive here, and then people will put stablecoins here, make it more the stability pool will be more full, so it will be less dangerous to use WBTC to mint and so forth. Now it does say that it's all space APR, so there's no interest here. There's no like you're not getting any compounding XIM tokens. You're just basically getting space tokens, and you can then take these space tokens and do with them as you please. Do you guys have any plans of any kind of way to like to combat the selling pressure of space? Because people are definitely going to come here, stick stable coins in here, farm space, and sell them. Like it's unquestionable that will happen, right?
Yes.
So do you have any plans to try to keep the space token value up?
Yes, definitely. Because we see the V1s, we experience that people usually like with fun, and then they have no loyalty to a platform. But this is how the DeFi was farmers do. So if you look at the estate, so so estate is actually we will rebrand that to S space. So this is actually the mechanism we inspired by Curve. So it's similar to the VE CRV. So we have a lot version of the reward tokens. So we will have the reward and the government token. So the S space will serve as the government tokens. So in the previous V1s, is that your space your space can be staked on the space staking pool, but we didn't use that ideas. Instead of receiving the protocol revenues, we actually use a lot version. So it means that anyone who has a long-term vision with us, they will get rewarded. The way they get rewarded is that they choose to lock down the space, and then depending on how long they lock, and then they get a different ratios. So the shorter then you get a very small ratios, and then the longer that you get a full value for that. In that way, then we can differentiate the longer terms will get a measure that they will get rewarded. And then right now, we are setting the 50% of all the fee of the protocol will be distributed back to the S-based government holders for that. So, but the 50% is just a default. We can change that to 100%, 70%, 80%, and it's out to the S-based holders to vote, to discuss, to vote, and then we implement that way. Yeah.
Okay, in what form of tokens are these rewards going to be given to these long-term X space holders?
Yes, this is a very sharp question. So in the V1, you probably see that we have the different collateral. So what we will do here is right now, I think the best way to help the price is that we will use all the collateral stablecoin to buy back the space, and then we will distribute space. So in that way, we are actually encountering the selling pressure by using the protocol fee to buy the reward tokens in order to kind of like create a buying pressure from the protocol itself. So they will receive the space as a reward to the S space. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Now I'm going to remind people that this is still on testnet, so there's a few words here like XDO, distributed space, and so forth. So this will all be like finished up. But I do want to know: are these timeframes going to be set, or because some of the long-term locking is 4 years and some is only 2 years? So are these the timeframes that you're planning on using?
Yes. Actually, there's a we are actually debating. So I probably we will use the send to the 4 years to match the one with the curve. So I think the maximum period is 4 years. And then we can have variations times that in between. Yeah, probably like 1 week, 1 month, 2 years, and 4 years, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. So it says here 2 years is 1 to almost 1, but so in the when it goes live, it's going to be 4 years. One space will give you 1x space, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And do these decay linearly over time? So like slowly your X space is going down and down to try to incentivize people to keep putting in to get the full rewards of this. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. Oh, wait, we've got X Farm here. What is X Farm here? This is just basically space tokens for providing to maybe Curve or providing to the stability pool or to the different LPs. So, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So this is just normal like pool 2 farming, like okay. Okay, so you guys are probably going to incentivize space versus Matic, right? Or space versus AVAX or something like that here, right?
Yes.
And this will probably be the Curve pool, but Curve pool is usually done on Curve, so maybe you won't have the Curve pool here actually, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think for the factory, can we do on the factory? Yeah, probably I need to check with the dev. But I know that if one have the gauge, you apply for the gauge and then you can put the rewards, the protocol reward on that before the pool get voted on the gauge.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like when you first open the factory Curve pool, you're going to have to put it here to incentivize it. Yeah. And then when you get full, like when you guys go through, you jump through all the hoops and Curve's happy with you, then they will let you open a gauge. And then you can move over to there and start supplying your space token rewards there instead. Okay. I think this pretty much covers everything. I think we're pretty good. I do invite you guys, to try to come and read the mediums. They're quite good, and also go through maybe the white paper as well. Is there anything that you feel that we missed that we really should talk about, and anything that's important that we kind of skipped over or didn't really talk about too much?
Yeah, I think for the baskets products is I think we cover most of them, but what is after after the V2, we are not done yet. We have a few products to be integrated with the MVP. So what you see here is MVP, but we can probably get another time to talk about that once we have this feature to be launched. So yeah.
Okay, so just to tease a little bit, are you talking about like you're going to create another product or another suite of products, and X dollars going to work with them and so forth? Is this what we're talking about?
Yes. So what we are thinking right now is just to provide some high levels. We're not giving a lot of details. Is that we are thinking that talking to like the Olympus DAO, hopefully we can have pro versions of that, pro versions of the Olympus Pro into the product to help the others, to help the small protocol to actually lock on their liquidity for that, because it's very hard to apply to Olympus DAO Pro. So we apply by ourselves, but we haven't heard back from them. So I imagine that a lot of the small project like us has that needs, but we need to address that. So Olympus Pro is something that we are looking at right now, and then we have like others like Stablecoin as a service, because we see a lot of like emerging trends has a need for that. So we have a few like modular products to be built on top of the S dollars, and then
Okay, I get it. So trying to get some of these LPs protocol owned through Olympus Pro, and then also maybe try to put the XM SIM token to use in other places, right? Give it some more utility other than just being able to take it and sell it for other stable coins, right? You want to have some place to use it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks so much for the time, Captain. I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I like this new product. I think it's pretty good, and I'm interested to see and ready for it to launch. You'll be in our server anytime. There will be lots of questions. I'm sure people will come to you with questions and so forth, and just get ready for some answers and so forth. And that's it. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you.
And
Welcome to the Creator DAO, and I'm looking forward to working with you on X Dollar. Okay.
Thank you very much.